My name is Seth Cohen, and I'm the Chief Impact Officer of Forbes and the founder of the Forbes Impact Lab. I'm here in New York City at the NASDAQ market site with Jonathan Epstein, the CEO of Celebrated Experiences, one of the world's greatest and most innovative luxury agencies around travel and lived experiences. Jonathan is not only a smart businessman, but he's a keen trend observer and really a shaper of what's happening in sustainable travel, slow travel for very discerning clients. Jonathan, I'm so glad you're here with us today.
I am really glad to be here with you, Seth. Thank you so much.
So, Jonathan, first let's talk about the business of Celebrated Experiences, because this is not a new company, this is not a startup, this has a long legacy already. Tell me about it.
I consider it a 35-year startup because every chapter that we enter, we treat it that way. We treat it with urgency and understanding of our clients. But it was started by Mom and my dad. My dad is 88. I still get to work with him every day. He's not just there reading newspapers. He's assisting people with itineraries right now. But I'm very fortunate because my parents started something that was incredibly innovative at the time and still manages to be rather innovative.
But this was not your first career, kind of.
No.
You didn't like stick around learning from your dad in this business. You were out doing politics. What was your background that led you to coming back to Celebrate?
I was very involved in campaign work around the country. Very fortunate to have gotten incredible experience with that. Also fortunate enough to realize at 31 that I didn't want to be doing that work anymore. And I always had been almost, I wouldn't say quite making fun of my family and their business, but I just never really got it. And I remember when I was 31, Mom and Dad asked me to come down, study, look at the business a little bit, and I fell in love with it. And people kept describing that I talked to clients and their partners in Europe, and they kept saying, your mom and dad are like a secret weapon. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna tell more people about the secret and start doing things like take credit cards. It was that much of a little bit. It was like the world's best lemonade stand. I joke around about Mom and Dad's business, but the lemonade was the best tasting lemonade.
So what made you love the travel business so much? I mean, again, the transition from politics to travel is not a small one, although it sounds like there's some similarities, but what made it exciting to you?
You make total impact. I mean, I love your title, right? Chief Impact Officer. Seth, for me, I may be CEO, but I'm Chief Impact Officer at Celebrated. It's all about making impact on people's lives. And in travel, you get to do that in so many ways. One, by growing our business, we employ more people. We get to watch their career tracks and their salaries grow and their opportunities grow. You look at our local partners, whether it's an amazing family-owned hotel in Tuscany to a manor in the Highlands of Scotland, and you make real differences in these, not only the hoteliers' lives, people who are a housekeeper or someone at reservations, but their local communities. Then you talk about most of our clients are really outstanding travel agents, like the world's best agents come to our company and they rely on us to be their almost like agent's agent or expert in these destinations. They're self-aware to know they can't know the world, and we're helping them grow their small businesses. So I just love this idea of being able to help people grow and impact businesses.
Yeah, beautiful. And
people go on great trips.
Yeah, everybody wins. Yeah, everybody wins. So I know Celebrated Experiences has focused on Ireland and the UK.
Yes.
And then expanded into Italy, and then in the past year has launched in France.
Yes, Celebrated France launched in October. It is going great. It was just the next natural step. Travel advisors actually for about 33 years, Dad jokes around, have been asking us to do France. It was the right opportunity. We spent 2 years looking at it, and we've just got incredible partners there.
And it sounds like from conversations I've had with you that the most recent transaction you did, bringing in some private equity into the business, was also catalytic in your growth. Tell me about that.
To me, coming out of the pandemic, our business grew by 3x, and
people were just ready to get out there.
For us, there was some pent-up demand, but in our level of client, it was less that and more that we had invested during the pandemic in adding new revenue streams, and our market share continued to grow. So when private equity saw that, there was an opportunity to find a partner, and that's the key thing we were looking for. We wanted a partner that could help us do what we do for more people. And we looked at it, and we really wanted family office private equity because they'd understand better our family dynamic. And we are so fortunate. It's the Aldo Bensadoun family office from Canada. The team there at Snowden Capital have just been visionaries for us, and I'm somebody who I may be 49, but I try to learn every day, and I learn a lot from my partners.
I hear that from so many successful CEOs that have taken private equity. It's not just the capital that's catalytic, it's really the knowledge and the relationships.
100%. And also, there's certain types of people that I love hiring, and I'm really good at hiring. But on that operational, on the CFO level side, director of finance, they really have fueled what we've seen in the last year.
So Jonathan, there's a lot of people in the Forbes universe that obviously are not strangers to luxury travel, and there's a lot of people that would like to be on journeys or experiences that would be called luxury travel. How do you define luxury travel?
Honestly, I think it's a word that means a billion things right now. To me, luxury is simply the ability to personalize something special. So not being treated like the person who did a similar trip a month ago, you know, and really listening, and that's what makes it feel like our job's a little bit like detective work. You know, a great travel advisor, or if a client finds us direct because they read about us in a magazine and they're not fortunate enough to have a great travel advisor, you know, they will track us down and we'll ask the right questions. We have a bunch of travel design teams that are really experienced and knowledgeable, and they take that and it creates incredible product.
So from where I sit, and again, kind of observing both business travel and personal family travel, there's a lot of different travel, right? There's the luxury side. There's now slow travel that is developing as people are kind of working more and more remote. How is slow travel and luxury travel working together, and how do you explain that?
I'm so glad you brought it up, and I had a feeling you were going to ask about trends at some point, and to me that's trend number one. Slowing down, traveling deeper. It is what in-the-know travelers are doing. It would be like if you met somebody on the street and they did what was very popular in the 80s, and they said, you know, I had the best trip to Europe. I did 2 nights in Rome, and 2 nights in Geneva, and 2 nights in Amsterdam, 2 nights Paris, 2 nights Madrid. And you're like, what are you doing? But that's the way people used to travel.
Right.
We're going through a similar transformation right now, where let's say an 8 or 9 night itinerary to Ireland 5 years ago could be 4, even 5 hotels, because people insisted on seeing more. Now it could be 2 or 3 hotels, because it's less about the seeing, more about the experience, the being there, and time to do things beyond the sites people are supposed to see.
So is that what you tell people when you're advising them, that it's really give space for the wonder, for the presence? Don't overcram. That's slow travel.
So critical, Seth. Like, I think that the best feedback trips are the ones that listen to that. Now, there are some people that's just the way their brain is wired, and guess what? That's what personalization is all about, and we'll deliver it. But we at least want to talk to them, because here's the difference, right? Let's say you have that extra night or 2 in a destination. Now you're not rushing. You're sitting at that pub, and this bartender's having the most hilarious talk with you. He's in the middle of a story, and no one's saying, we've got to get to the next place. You know, you stop by a local artisan who's this epic chocolate maker, and next thing you know, you have a long-lost cousin. This does happen. You don't have to rush off. If you like to read in real life, or meditate, or do yoga, you can still do that on vacations. And doing yoga outside in Tuscany, there's something about it, right?
So you've referenced a few different things, including the learning side. So you know, as an impact-focused executive myself, when I'm traveling, I'm thinking a lot about the nature of my travel. One is, am I actually sustainably traveling? Like, what is my travel doing to either make a positive or negative impact on the world? How am I helping the communities or giving back into the prosperity of the communities I'm in? So talk to me a little about the trends of kind of educational and impact-focused travel.
Okay, so first, thank you so much for bringing it up. It needs to be talked about more. Daniel Brown is CEO of a company called DM Africa. It's a great company. I did a trip with them in March to Africa. And I remember saying to him, on the ground, what are the things I can do to impact the local community? He had a great line, and it was like a lightning bolt in my head, because it really reminded me of what we do, even though our destinations are in Africa.
Right.
He goes, simply travel.
Simply travel.
When you go to these places, and that's why it's not just Botswana where I was, but the southwest of Ireland, you know, like I've already mentioned, Tuscany or Umbria, parts of the French countryside and the English countryside. It's not just the environmental sustainability. To me, there's three things that have to be connected. It's environmental sustainability, but that can only maximize its success with economic sustainability and cultural sustainability.
So
and they all
let me just
feed
say
each
it back
other.
to you. Environmental,
Yes,
economic,
and cultural.
and cultural.
And think about this as a hotel that employs, you know, it has 80 rooms. They employ maybe 150, 200 people, maybe 250. Maybe it has an estate, and there's lots of things. I think of a lot of our hotels like this. If that tourism's not there, where do those people go? They leave the region. They go to the cities. A way of life dies. And this happens. And that's why I want people to feel great about when they're able to go to places. And it doesn't matter, honestly, where it is. Like, as long as you're supporting the local communities, and you are, when you dine in their restaurants and bring
I
back
can
to be
imagine that's
smart.
the case in, like, for example, northern Italy, home of slow cooking.
Yes.
That you want to make
Europeans
sure
think
that's
we're crazy the way that we historically travel. Like, people always will call, you know, and now it's, thank God, it's only about 5% or 10% of our Ireland or Scotland requests. And it started with, we want to go to both Ireland and Scotland. And I'm like, because they both end in land, they have English, like
sure.
it's just,
They
it's
must
an
be close
interesting,
by.
yeah, it's
I guess Greenland
they're
will be
actually
the next one, but
separated,
yes.
right? It's like, to me, what people have gotten so much better at is realize, you know what? We'll really enjoy this trip, because it's about the trip, not what you're seeing. And they'll go to Scotland or Ireland 2 or 3 years down the road. And that is traveling, I think, better. And the more that you stay in a place, you feel more connected to it.
So travel is always a bit sensitive to economic trends, certainly to certain kind of, as we were talking about before, issues of environmental, like where people want to go, how they want to go. They might want to go to cooler regions or warmer regions. What are some other trends you're seeing in the travel space that are either getting you excited or giving you a bit of pause for concern?
Well, I think another thing that a savvy traveler is doing now is understanding there's actually 12 months in a calendar. And there's actually 12 months in a calendar in Europe as well. So travel to Ireland for Thanksgiving or Italy for festive, instead of just your natural Caribbean or Mexico or Hawaii, which a lot of people will do. I know that's what I did this year, right? I went to Amsterdam and I was in Scotland, and I just loved it. And I feel like our clients are loving it. Why does it matter? Well, if you're a couple and you're traveling during June or July, you don't have kids with you, your kids have left the house, you don't need to be there in peak season.
Right.
Travel the rest of the calendar. And I just think there's a greater authenticity to the year-round travel when you're able to be in places that aren't as crowded. But sometimes people have to go when it's crowded. You know, they're traveling with their kids. I think it's great that you bring kids over on travel, especially, and this is another trend, when we're building in 5 sense experiences. The more that we can, you know, get the iPad and the iPhone away, it's easier to do that when you're incorporating all 5 senses into an experience. Also, one of your favorite things I know, storytelling. So if you've got a guide who's storytelling, you've got 5 senses coming at you, you're present, you're mindful, and your memories are going to stick with you. And I think these are all kind of coming together to make travel better when working with, you know, expertise and
Jonathan, I know we have just a bit of time, and I know this is putting you on the spot because you work with so many phenomenal hoteliers and so many partners. But if you're looking at the kind of world that's inspired you to have such a great standard of excellence with Celebrate experiences, who are some of those people out there that you're holding in your mind as these are exemplars, maybe in Ireland where I know you have a deep set of relationships?
There are so many that have inspired me, inspire their regions, and I think inspire others in the industry. And just a few that pop into my mind immediately, you know, there's 2 hotels that are sister hotels on Lake Como. Pasalacqua and Grand Hotel Tremezzo, family owned, operated, incredible leadership. and pushing the industry forward with innovation. I think about the team at Ashford Castle, led by Niall. Like, just truly remarkable what they're doing. Glen Eagles, Connor and their team. There are these places that are just doing an extraordinary job, and you know, they do inspire me because they do push things forward.
And it sounds like, I just want to zero in on one thing you said. Family owned and operated, but also innovative. Is that, are you finding that to be a key trend?
I think family owned and operated at our core, independent hotels. They're special. A lot of people can't find them without a great travel advisor.
Sure.
But there are some great brands that do this well too. I mean, we did our France announcement at Rosewood Hotel de Crillon. And what that team did to make that event successful, and what they've already done for the guests that we've sent their way so far, they push this forward. They push that 5 cents, all-encompassing service, adaptive service, and that's important when it's adaptive, right? Because personalization changes based upon your mood, what you felt 9 months ago or 3 months ago.
And who's coming with you on the trip?
Exactly, and I feel like that adaptive, fast-paced service, which we're very fortunate, you know, when you think about Scotland, Ireland, England, France, Italy, culturally, these are destinations that nail that.
So one more question, and I ask a lot of my guests this, which is, I'm an optimist. I say I'm an applied optimist. I find when I'm traveling, I'm getting that experience of purpose, of knowledge, of wonder, that kind of wow. So travel really makes me optimistic. What is the place for you, Jonathan Epstein, personally, when you go to this island or this place, and it could be in your regions or it could be elsewhere, that makes you feel that same way, and maybe just why? Why does that make you feel optimistic?
I think I get fuel from interesting, innovative, compassionate, warm people. I get fuel from ideas. I get fuel from things that I don't know. Travel builds that into my life. And so, yes, as you know, I'm a big hiker. You know, I love being outside. I ski. And at those moments, I like my solo time. But I also have to, when I'm coming down the mountain, I love that engagement. And travel really creates that engagement.
It's an industry of billions of dollars and billions and billions of experiences. And Jonathan, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me here today.
Seth, great to be with you.
I've been joined here today at the NASDAQ market site in New York City with Jonathan Epstein, the CEO of Celebrated Experiences. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.